Global Socialpreneurs is brought to you in part by Positive Talk Radio, KKNW 1150 AM in Seattle. Check them out at www.positivetalkradio.net.
Welcome to Global Socialpreneurs, a one-of-a-kind talk show showcasing expert social entrepreneurs. Learn their stories and their secrets to creating a sustainable impact. Now, here are your hosts, social entrepreneurs Ann SCOTTLIN and SHAMETRIA Gonzalez.
Welcome back. Hi, Shametria.
Hi, Ann. How's it going?
It's so good. I am so good. Just happy to see you. And it was we took the 4th off, so we're really excited to get back and get running again. Welcome to all of you here to Global Socialpreneurs, and we're a really unique streaming show because we're talking about something that we think needs more conversation, and that's creating more global awareness around socialpreneurship and how you can make a humanitarian or an environmental impact with a for-profit business, a for-profit humanitarian effort. So this is a totally different twist. And we have every week we air on USA Global TV, and that's at 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And we bring you incredible people who are already in the game and can give you the motivation and inspiration for taking your own socialpreneur experience to the next level, or just understanding better how it works, right, Shametria?
Yes, exactly. So I'm just excited. I think this week we have a really, really special guest coming on. She is someone who I have seen grow in so many ways. And man, without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to my good friend, Princess Duncanson. She is an avid social entrepreneur, the face and partner of the Duncanson Team Realtors. She's the CEO of Amira.
I think.
Amira. I always get this wrong. Amira Rose LLC and the host of the Royal Podcast. She is a speaker, author of the book Still Standing, and a mother of 4. I don't know how she does it, but she does. Princess has always had a passion for helping people and does this successfully through her work as a social entrepreneur and a leader in the real estate industry. So without further ado, my good friend, Princess Duncanson. Welcome, friend.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And Shametria, this is an amazing platform that you have, obviously. And a lot of people are focusing on profit, but I love what you're doing from the humanitarian standpoint and just giving back. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Princess. Thank you. So I think as we come here, one of the things that I always like to do and to give people just a little bit about you, can you tell us who is Princess Duncanson? Like, I know who you are, but tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
So I tell everyone, everyone does the spill. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a this, I'm a that. But what I really am is I'm a thriver. So I've been through a lot of things in my life, and I don't want to just survive in that. I want to thrive. So I am a thriver. I am someone that has had a lot of adversity pushed towards them. And I've chosen not to live in the adversity. I've chosen to live in the abundance and have an abundance mindset and always push myself for more. And just to really, go for it, achieve my goals. But besides all that, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm an author, I'm a realtor. And I just love genuinely helping people and giving back. That's my passion. That is my passion, especially young women. At a young age, I am a survivor of molestation. And so it definitely has shaped my life. And I didn't feel like I had a voice. So my goal now is to give a voice to the voiceless and to also focus on, to get help, mental health, therapy. And so you could be your best version of yourself and not be bonded to your past.
I love that so much. That's so beautiful. And I think Shametria and I have often said on this show, nothing is ever wasted. We don't want the bad things to happen to us or the people we love. But when they do, it's a matter of what you choose to do with it. It's whether you decide to stay in a victim mindset for the rest of your life, which you kind of deserve to do. People do. Or you can use that as leverage, as power, as motivation, as energy to convert into make those kind of people.
Had a little bit of freeze there, and
Oh yeah, I did. Sorry about that. So go ahead, please.
No, that's okay. Good things come when the internet is trying to mess.
Oh, absolutely. But we're gonna push through.
But so talking about everything that you do on this show, we always ask certain questions because social entrepreneurs out there, I think this is a new term, and this is something that came around when social media came about. And most people think of like not-for-profit, or they think they have to do all of this work and do things and not make a profit. But I see that you have found a way to not only be a real estate agent, but to also give back through your books, through your podcast. What do you feel like was your turning point that made you say, I want to do more than just be a realtor?
So my turning point was when I had my last son in 2017. I had always been writing my book, wanting to share my story. I felt like that was my give back. God was like pulling on my heart, but I was so afraid because, when you share your story, you're afraid that you're going to be judged. And I didn't want to be judged, but I felt like this is what God wanted. So 2017, I started writing my book, started writing my poetries. And then I finally got the courage in 2021 after COVID. I said, you know what? My husband encouraged me. He was like, do you want to put the book out? And I said, you know what? I feel like it's going to have a greater impact than it will have any harm. And after that, I started putting the book out. That's when I created Amira Rose LLC and just really started encouraging women, empowering women. And, just recently, in my basis, I don't push religion or God on anyone, but my foundation is God. My foundation is prayer. My foundation is meditation. And so I always go back to that. That is what had been able to keep me. Because like you said, Ann, I could have stayed in a victim mentality. I could have turned to anything outside of something positive with what I went through, right, to cope. So I chose to cope through writing. I actually have been writing poetry since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And so it's something that was always a therapy for me. So I decided to write. I decided to go on, social media and just share it as much as possible, just giving words of encouragement. And then I recently, which I know I created something called Still Standing and Prayed Up. It's my prayer call that I do twice a month, where I just invite women to come on. There's nothing that you have to pay for. You don't have to turn your camera on. And we just literally go through affirmations, and I find scriptures that match those affirmations just so you can feel empowered. Because as sometimes a wife, a mom, entrepreneur, you wear so many hats, and it's like, how do you give yourself a little bit something to keep going? And that was part of my one give back.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So tell us just a little bit about what motivated you to find an income producing solution to help solving some of these social problems that you are working so hard on? Because I think this is the missing gap, where a lot of people say, oh, I can either be an entrepreneur, it's me, I make money, or I can work for free and get donations, which isn't bad, but like there is a way to merge these two, which is really exciting. So how did that build for you? Where'd that come from?
So basically, my husband and I got our real estate license, and we just really did it as like, a second source of income, just to say, hey, we're going to do it. He always wanted to be an investor. But then I realized, I said, you know what? I can take my profits that I make from real estate, and that's how I publish my book. And that's how I have events. And that's how I'm able to show up and give back and to donate and to help out. But it all came from just saying, oh, I want a second source of income. But I also feel like it was God ordained. It's always been in me to give back. Like I was a kid on the street. If I saw someone homeless, I wanted to give them $1 or buy them something to eat. And just to always encourage someone to do more. So now, like, everything that I do with my real estate, obviously part of it is for profit, right? For me to live a life that I like to live. But a lot of it really does go back into Amira Rose and what I can do to help other people and what I can do to help the women. I have t-shirts, I have things that I give away. A lot of times I go to events and I just give them my book away. I give the shirts away because I feel like the impact that it can give is way more than the profit that I can receive.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that from you. And so what I'm gathering is that you started from what you had, and you have different options for people, but it is still a business that you run. Some give away, but there is a way to make a profit from it. But most of the time, it's kind of like based on how you feel. But I think one of the things I wanted to talk a little bit deeper into you, and this is something I actually, with the book Still Standing,
Yes.
can you give me a little bit more about what that book represents and what you talk about in it, and how do you make profit from that book? How do you sell it? How do you?
So just to go into the profit part, I sell it on my website. It's on, you can get it on Amazon, you can get it on BookBeat, you can get it all over. If you just Google Still Standing Princess Duncanson, you can purchase the book wherever. But the basis of the book is me in the beginning. It's a quick synopsis of talking about my life growing up.
Yeah.
And I talked about, being molested. And I never actually told my mom until I was pregnant with my first child at 22. That's when I told her that I was molested. So I kept that to myself. I actually faced my my person that did that. It was actually a family member. I faced them and they admitted it and everything like that. And I felt like I was being molested all over again. And so I put that in the book. Also growing up, I grew up in a single family household. I really didn't have a close relationship with my father. And so it was pretty much me being therapeutic and kind of forgiving him. He died when I was 16. So we never had that moment of connection or trying to make it right or even trying to understand. So I write that in the book. And then I go into affirmations. I go into scriptures that made me feel empowered. And because I think a lot of times negative thoughts come automatically. It's just, but you really, really have to be very, very intentional about having positive thoughts and talking positive things to yourself. So then I shift to my poetry. So the poetry does come from a place of any pain that I've went through or people that I know. Like SHAMETRIA, if you told me your story, I would connect with that. And then I would write a poem about that. And so some of the poems are specifically connected to me. Some of them are not specifically connected to me. It's connected to people that I know or things that I've seen or things that I feel like young women are going through. There's so many women and so many young girls, especially between the ages of 12 and 18 that are dealing with mental abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and they don't talk about it. So you have these broken young women that are trying to function in this world, but they don't have an outlet. So I created the book as an outlet to be like, okay, it gives a voice to the voiceless. Maybe they can't put it into words, or maybe they can say, hey, mom, read this, or hey, counselor, read this. I connect with this in a way that they are not able to put words to it.
Wow.
I'm about to cry.
No.
I've like cried on this show. And I think it's because we're talking about something that is so impactful. And for myself, social entrepreneurship, we'll ask that question a little closer to the end, like, what does it mean to you? But for me, social entrepreneurship it came about when social media came about. And we have this platform to be able for people to just go from, used to have to be on TV in order to get a message out or to share something. Now we have the worldwide internet and we can do it from a social aspect. So whether it's giving back through your book, whether it's given back through bringing people on your podcast like we're doing right here, or rather it's doing live events where you give people that don't have a voice the ability to have a voice. Pardon me.
No, you're fine.
It's still the ability for us to be able to make change. But as entrepreneurs, we put that at the forefront. It's not entrepreneur socially, it's social entrepreneur. So think about the work that you're doing and the feelings that you have that come about right now. Of course, you feel some type of way because this is real. This is like, I believe that somebody on this call may have been molested or may have went through something, and you sharing your story, they may go look up your book. That's social entrepreneurship,
I think it's so amazing too, because when people think about struggle and they think about pain and what you've been through, and they don't see it on you. So when people see me, they like, oh my God, she's so happy, she's so this. But there's so many things that I go through, and I shared with you recently. Like I share a lot of different things with SHAMETRIA, let her know, and she's been very encouraging. So I lost my aunt November 21st of last year, and that was like my baby girl. Okay, that was my everything. I had such great childhood memories with her, and she passed away due to cancer. And it just hit me. I was like, I've been in 6 months of I've got depression, but I've been mourning her. And I think a lot of times in this popcorn microwavable world, people don't allow you the opportunity to just really live in your emotions sometimes. And when I say live, sit in it, because you don't want to live there, but sit in it, understand it, process it, go through it. So when you come out, you're actually healed.
Yeah.
And so I sat in that, and I also sat in it because it's just like I felt like an end of an era came. Like, who's my motivator? Who's going to support me? And I know I have a family, I have a husband, I have a great mom. But you know how you have that one person in your family or one person in your life that you know is your go-to person that just gives you life, and that was her for me. And so that was actually a motivator for me to just keep going. And I told Shametra that. I said, you know what?
Yeah.
I said, this is not what my aunt would want for me. She would want me to continue to go and continue to push, because the enemy would want me to not share my message. But I have a message to share because I have people to touch. This is what God placed me on the earth to do, and I got to do it.
That's amazing. And like, what a special gift too, to have a person like that. And, when we lose someone, it's, first of all, you're confronted with that feeling of loss. And it's not just loss of them in the world, but also your personal loss. So I love what you said about feeling it. And I never had a go-to person as a young person.
Wow.
So like understanding the value of a loving mentor or relative or someone. I had loving parents, but they weren't my go-to people. So how do you, like realizing how valuable that was, so empowered you to say, I know this is going to be valuable for other people, for other young girls that are going through similar things. She would be so proud of you today, just knowing that you have this voice and that you're making such a beautiful impact and letting people feel. One of my most frustrations, I'm a very emotional, empathic person. So one of my deepest frustrations as a child was always when I felt stuff, I was told, stop feeling sorry for yourself. So you learn to just push it down, to internalize it. And that continued into my young adult life. And, like I had bleeding ulcers in my early 20s. I just was pushing down, a very non-expressive culture and family, no yelling, no, suppressed, complete, no arguing, no expression. And being given permission. I remember, because, I've been an actress in Hollywood, and I remember taking, in some of my acting classes, I would tell the teacher, he would say, you need to really show your rage. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I'm terrified. I was like, you're going to have to give me permission. He's like, well, you can do it. I'm like, no, I need you to actually say it, because I was so stuck in being able to release my true feelings or what happened to me that and he was like, okay, if it helps you, I give you permission. And then I could do it. So sometimes just knowing that someone gives you the permission to feel, that it doesn't make you a bad person to feel and know the trauma you've gone through, you're allowed to process, and the process can be healing. Because if it's not, it just turns into a scar that like chafes forever.
And it never heals. It never heals.
It's like a battle.
And exactly. I'm hearing, like, this is a good segue into my next question, which was going to be, what are some things that you do as a woman, as a leader, as a thought leader, as a teacher, as a motivator for self-care? For all social entrepreneurs out there, one of the biggest questions that I love asking is, how do you take care of yourself? Like, how do you do all this and make it happen? Do you have any advice for our listeners?
So for me, my biggest things that I love to do, I love to read. And I love to read positive things. So right now I'm reading The Inner Yogi, and I just finished reading The Energy Bus. So I love to read. I love to listen to music. I love to take a bath. Okay. I love to go on dates with my husband. Like, let's go out to eat. Let's go for a ride. Let's go for a walk. Like, and then on top of that, which we have been making it a priority, is date night. We've been making it a priority to vacation. Like, when I'm done with the interview, I'm going to go to the pool. I'm going to relax. I'm going to have a good time. And I'm just going to really give me, but my thing for me that I love to do, I love reading. I love writing. And sometimes I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm going to say it's okay. I love sitting in my bed, turning on Netflix and watching a series all the way through. That is my, like, people make it seem like, oh my God, you're an entrepreneur, up at 5 a.m., working till 6 a.m. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna take a nap and I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna watch my show, and then I'm gonna get up and be productive. But I have to recharge me. And I think sometimes in this world, they're like, if you're an entrepreneur, no, you can take a nap. You will be okay. Nobody will get hurt. You can watch TV. It's okay. Like right now, my show is SWAT. That's my little piece. I watch it. It gives me peace. And then I go do what I have to do.
I love that answer. And I've not heard it. Like, we've heard quite a bit of answers, but that's a good one. That's that's authentic. Like, I know. Yeah. And
you know me, I'm gonna give the honesty. I'm not gonna give fluff. I'm not gonna I listen, I take naps.
It's the energy for me.
I love that so much because that takes a level of self-awareness. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of entrepreneurs, and by second nature, a lot of social entrepreneurs, to have the drive and the creativity and the persistence to go, you feel like it always has to be a marathon. I struggle with feeling guilty if I sit down and do any of those things, right? So I do them, but I'm getting better. I just got back from I call them a workation. I'm working towards a vacation. And but just unplugging and realizing, rediscovering yourself, because I came from a workaholic and family environment, ex-husband, like this is sort of a second nature for me.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to realize that I really like myself when I get to have those down moments, and I just like I get to see family, nature. I just am like, it's all okay. And I'm doing this so that I can help people. So I just love that you just said it all.
Right. Yep, that's what I'm doing.
I'm listening. I appreciate it. Like I know I have to recharge, and I'm never going to be my best version of myself if I'm burnt out. And I've done that in the past. Don't get me wrong, but now I will know how to unplug and step away.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, what kind of advice would you have so pretty much we work a lot with different kinds of social entrepreneurs. So they're either startup socialpreneurs who are like really never even thought about doing this before, but they've had all kinds of, radio shows, books. They've been helping a particular class of people. They've been helping men with depression, whatever that thing is. But they're looking for ways to fund it. And I see there's two ways to go about it. So for myself, one is you take what you already do well, which is what you've done, and make that your staple so that then you can branch out. And whether that's, each person's business, whether it's a percentage or whatever that is, that you can make your program true. And then finding ways to make it sustainable, either now or in the future. What is your dream in the long run of what you want to do for these young women?
Oh, so SHAMETRIA knows this one. My dream in the long run would be my prayer. I always tell God, if you make me a millionaire, this is like my give back. Like, give me all those 7-figure, 8 figures. I want to open up group homes, but not just like group homes for the beds. I don't want to just I want group homes, and I want these girls to have a home. They're gonna have they can paint their room, they can have a bed, they can just live amazing. And then I also want to create a home for 18 to 25, because I want to give those girls who don't have families an opportunity to still go to college, to have an address so they can get a job. Maybe they don't want to go to college, maybe they want to go to trade school. But and speaking to SHAMETRIA, she educated me a lot. Once you're out of the foster care system and you're 18 or older, there's no longer aid, and then they end up becoming homeless. Why would we do that? And so, in learning SHAMETRIA's story, why would we put a woman in that environment? So that would be my goal. That is my heart, my passion. Her and I have talked about it, and I know that it takes time, right, to get there. But I know that before I leave this earth, we're gonna have the Amira Rose Healing House. I know that. I'm claiming it. And if anybody's watching it that wants to help me, you know how to contact me. I'll be more than happy to partner. But that is my passion. That right there. And I've said that I've wanted a group home. This is like 10 years in the making. I've been always saying I want to open up a group home.
Yeah. This is amazing. And I love that you just threw it out there. And this is such a big part of what we talk about with social entrepreneurship. Is part of the reason we're doing this is to connect people.
Yes.
And by finding people throughout the world who are doing similar things. Like there's no time, you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. Even if it's a different kind of program or for a different kind of person, you have people that have already gone through it. They've already figured out the funding. They found how to get, local grants. They figured out how to do this, in a way. So it's like, we don't have to start from scratch, because I think a lot of social entrepreneurs have fabulous intentions and they burn out like regular entrepreneurs because it's just so much. But it's like, no, we're not. In this particular case, now some social entrepreneurs are going to invent apps, but in this particular case, it's not like we're doing that. It's correct. We want to create a home for people to be able to thrive and have a family. And
Yes.
so we can connect with other people around the world. And I know SHAMETRIA does too. Like we love connecting people. Like I'm kind of addicted to it.
You know what I think about too? So
Yeah.
it's like, you don't get to see my scars. So people didn't get a chance to discard me. But some of these young girls, you get to see their scars. You get to see their history. So I feel like society automatically discards you. And I'm like, well, what if someone saw my scars? What if I didn't, I would say my mom, and you said you're an actress at a young age. I've been acting. Like I was acting all over, did plays. I was in the Peppermint Players. Like that was a big thing. So I'm thankful that my mom had me in things to keep me going. But what if I didn't have those opportunities? Where would I be? So when I look at these young women, what if someone didn't? What if I didn't have that foundation? I could have been like those young women. I could have been there. So why would I discard them? I want to help them heal. I want to help them, reassure them like, hey, you deserve to live a good life. That's your God-given right to have a life of abundance. So that's my passion.
So beautiful. And do you have any kind of, and this is kind of going off the regular interview here, but I'm so curious. And this is like, and when I coach people, I ask them these questions too. So because you're a successful real estate investor, because you have a business that supports this mission specifically, so you can do this amazing work in the world, do you ever sit around and think about, when I have these young women living in your Amira home, right? How can I teach them to also be productive, to be financially stable, to pass the torch, if you will?
Oh, I love that question. So the goal of it will obviously be to have house mothers, but we're going to literally be teaching them about finances. Like it's not going to just be like, here's a house, live. No, we're going to train you, whatever technical training you want to do, whatever it is that you want to do, we're going to teach you to do that. So when you leave there, you have the ability to go to college, you have the ability to live a productive life. That is the goal. And then on top of that, I definitely want to have therapy there. Therapy is so necessary. Even if you haven't had trauma in your life, therapy is necessary. It's just necessary to be able to talk to a third party who does not know you, and they can give you a different perspective on life. So definitely therapy, definitely training, definitely a lot of love, a lot of structure, but definitely empower them that when they leave, they're able to go on and be successful members of society and give back, probably be better than me. That's the goal. Make them better versions of myself.
I love that.
Of themselves.
I love that.
And I wanted to share Princess. So one of the things, Princess is really big on holding herself accountable, on communicating with me on where she's at in her journey, mentorship, investing in herself. I met her at an event where she was, she's not just a realtor, she is the top producing realtor, her and her husband, for a huge firm with this amazing group of individuals out in New York. So, I just want to toot that horn, but also Anne is amazing at what she does. And she has a mastermind that I participate in to learn more stuff to teach you as well. So it's just this beautiful interconnection of how each one of us have a strong suit and we can help each other within that parameter. Like you want to do a group home. I'm already doing Home for Grace. I know how to get government contracts. Grants. Anne knows how to get, she's like working on 9 different ways of getting funding right now for social.
Also, I'm on the right call with the right people. I already knew that. So, and I just want to, I want to give you your flowers. Obviously, SHAMETRIA is an amazing person. And one thing that I loved about you, you tell your story, but your story doesn't tell you. You tell your story. And you are so powerful about it. And then on top of that, you're so loving about it. And you and I created a friendship. So, a lot of times you're like, when you meet new people, we've connected instantly and we've talked. I know there's some things that I'm going to be joining you on recently, which I'm very excited about. We have Unleashed to Speak. So SHAMETRIA is an amazing trainer. And then part of that, which is amazing, another person that you're going to be on the platform with on Sunday, I've partnered with her and we have created something called the Success Navigator, which is mainly focused on women and creating creating a think tank to be able to give back to them. So, sometimes you can't go to your mom, your dad, your cousin, your friends, because they don't understand when you're an innovative thinker.
Yes.
Created an environment where you have a think tank and you can come into and you can shoot your ideas to us, and we have different strengths. So my strength will not be the note taker or any other. My strength is the innovator, the motivator. Let me take your idea and expand it. And then you have Tisha, and she's an amazing, the contract her, she's amazing, you know that. And then we have Marissa. So it's just been an amazing, amazing journey. Since I met you in Houston, everything has just gone in the right direction. And that's why it's truly, I believe in God being ordained, it's God ordained. But when you show up as your true self, your whole self, your full self, people get to see you who you are. And so it's just awesome. So Anne and SHAMETRIA, you guys are doing something amazing.
Oh, I'm sure we'll be talking more to you too.
Yes, I'm excited.
It's the power of individuals who, you know, have used their courage to find their joy. That's my opinion. You've used your courage to find your joy. You can't hide your real joy. People listen to you when they know you're speaking your truth.
Yes.
When you're faking it, when you're, making big spiels for some other large organization to raise money, not a bad thing.
Right.
People know when you're speaking your story, your truth, when they see the joy that you have, even though you've had a challenging, past, that gives them hope. So I think when we band together like that, we bring people joy and hope. And really, that's the reason for living. And, if we can teach even if we only reached a few hundred people around the globe to kind of share this energy, to share this social connection, to share the opportunity that social entrepreneurship offers on the ground, anywhere in the world. I mean, just imagine what an impact that would be. My personal impact, of course, I always aim high, is to help either start or support 10,000 social impact programs in 10 years. And part of that is here through the podcast. Part of that is through the Socialpreneur Mastermind that SHAMETRIA and I do. So it gives me so much encouragement to hear that positive message.
Listen, I love it. You guys are awesome. And I can't wait to connect outside of this, because I feel like you guys have a lot of, like, the Home for Grace. I already know you know how to do that. And obviously, Anne, so I'm ready to connect.
Amazing. And for our viewers too, you got to see, I think, Princess contact information popped up. It'll probably pop up again. It's also going to be on in the notes of this show, whether you're listening or watching on streaming, you can find that. And we're going to have to wrap up. We only have a couple minutes left, but SHAMETRIA, any last questions for her?
Oh my God, I got to ask you. So now that you know about social entrepreneurship, what does that mean to you?
So social entrepreneurship means to me where you are able to make an impact with your passion.
Okay.
And you're able to take your profit that may not be your passion, because everyone thinks you have to work in your passion. Obviously, you have to like what you do, but
that's good.
But you're able to take your passion and make an impact, and use your profits from your non-passion. I'm passionate.
I love that.
I'll tell you this: I am very passionate about real estate. I love seeing families who think that they can never be homeowners become homeowners. That is also a passion of mine as well. But Amira Rose is my baby. That's where if I can help 10 women heal, that would be a goal of mine. But I obviously want to help more than 10.
Oh, yes, I think you absolutely will. I mean, and I just love that you said that, because, and I've said that for a long time too. Sometimes people's day jobs, maybe your gift is accounting, but that's not your passion. If you have a gift, use it and find ways to do it. You don't have to quit accounting, try to become an author as your only source of income. We've seen this happen with people we love, where they really committed, but they didn't have a financial plan. And part of being a social entrepreneur that makes it a little different from just volunteer activities is having a solid financial plan. Use what you know to create income, and then support whatever cause you want. And sometimes for some people, they get really lucky and it overlaps. So that's amazing.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And if you want to,
thank you for having me.
I
I'm sad that it's over with. I'm like, we need to talk a little bit more.
We will. Absolutely. I promise. It went so fast. Seriously. It just like the fastest show I think we've had, just flew right by. It feels like it was 10 minutes. So thank you everyone for joining us here on Global Socialpreneurs. You can find out more on globalsocialpreneurs.com. You can check in on SHAMETRIA's website, my website, and SCOTTLIN.com, and find out more about SHAMETRIA's program to teach everyone and social entrepreneurs speaking skills so you can take your message global. And check out my website where you can find out more information on on the Global Socialpreneur Mastermind. So thank you all for being with us. Join us again next week, Wednesdays, 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and share your joy and make a difference. Bye.